Hello, and thank you for stopping by and listening to this presentation. My name is Eric Fullerton. I'm a lead product evangelist at Acquia, and I'm going to talk about 3 keys to making the digital leap. I really like this slide because I think it puts a lot of things into perspective for many of us. We've been thinking about the concept of digital transformation, digital innovation for a long time, and we've had leaders across our organization be very focused on it. But I thought this really put things into perspective particularly nicely, which is, yes, we've had initiatives, yes, we've had goals, but the fast forward button has really been pressed on a lot of these initiatives in response to what we're seeing with COVID-19. And there's this new normal that exists, whether you're a marketer or someone who's in IT, someone responsible for delivering a great digital experience. We know that digital transformation and customer experience is a top priority for brands. But what's pretty difficult here is that marketers tend to actually miss the mark to meet these high expectations for a great customer experience. And of course, we all know that with COVID-19, the digital experience brands are providing is more important than ever. In many instances, it's the only way they're able to communicate with their customers, their constituents, and the consumers at large. Now, brands are getting really creative with some of their digital properties and being able to engage with them. They're able to spin up new business units, roll out new campaigns, create new sites. And I'm going to show a couple examples of organizations that have been able to do this. First, I want to touch base on some content. For those of you who haven't been keeping an eye on McKinsey, they are producing fantastic content around COVID-19 and digital transformation. And I pulled out a couple quotes here that I think really hit the nail on the head, which is that businesses that once mapped digital strategy in 1 to 3 year phases, maybe some of them it was a 5-year phase, are now forced to scale their digital initiatives in a matter of weeks. When they did a survey for executives, about 70% of them said this pandemic is likely to accelerate the pace of their digital transformation. So in order to accelerate that pace, in order to respond in an environment where it's maybe more difficult to do than it's been in some time, the manners and channels we can engage on are limited. What are the keys to responding in this world? And fortunately, we have over 3,500 customers at Acquia, and what we're able to do is learn a lot from them to understand what are the requirements to delivering and creating an experience, an engaging experience online in this new reality and new normal that we're experiencing today. And I tried to bundle them into 3 key categories. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of those and then more specifically provide a use case and customer story for each one of these 3. And I think that you'll hopefully see some value in breaking these down, but also how organizations were able to execute on all 3 of these things to provide value and create a better experience. The first is I need to move fast, build new sites, create new content, and roll it out quickly. The next is that customer data and clean customer data with a single view of customer is more important than it's ever before. And that's going to be really important as businesses are responsible for lifting and shifting in real time to more effectively communicate with their customers and their consumers. And the last thing, this is something that has been true for a long period of time, but still maintains as an essential truth, that scale and security is a requirement. Lots of organizations are seeing increased demand. Some are seeing decreased demand. Some are seeing traffic spikes. Others are seeing new security threats, regardless of the maturity of their posture. In order to meet the demands of today's digital experiences, scale and security are paramount. So when we think about building new sites and content quickly, what does that actually mean for you, a user, or someone who's going to be building that experience? Well, I want to have one place for all of my content, a single source of truth. I want to be able to create and use powerful technology, but also technology that's easy to use. And we think about low code as a way to kind of complement these 2 things, as well as the ability to build campaigns without having to do coding or involve developer resources. So we know that today website development can take a lot of time, specifically when we try to get ideas and we try to launch them, it can take a little bit of time. There's the code, there's the design, there's the content. Of course, there's much more that goes into it than that, but it does take a particular amount of time. What we think and we believe is a combination of a powerful CMS plus low-code technology is going to provide the best of both worlds. And I'm just going to go into a little bit about how it might work. The developers will actually write the code. Designers, the content creators, the site designers and site builders create a master design system, and then enhancements and adjustments can be done by non-technical users, all with the right permissions and controls in place to make sure that you're not missing any compliance regulations or going against your brand guidelines. And what this means is that the process of building a site can be cut in half. Sometimes we've seen up to 4x increase in speeds to create and launch new sites. So building a 300-page site could take as little as 3 to 6 weeks. Traditionally, we can see it takes a lot longer than that. And of course, this extends to less maintenance and lower costs, and a shorter learning curve for new users, non-technical folks being able to make these edits and updates and changes. So it's a less maintenance, lower cost, but also an operational efficiency perspective. And what we believe that's going to be able to do, what we've seen in real time, is this really amazing combination, which it may take a little bit of time to roll out that system and to do the initial development. But once that's done, you are rapidly increasing the ability to create new sites and to create new properties. You're saving time and you're saving money with low code plus powerful CMS. And what we believe the result is here is that you can take the time from idea to launch and shrink it, which means you're able to respond to the current requirements in our COVID-19 world, create and launch new projects or new initiatives, or essentially shift your focus to another essential business area. And the city of Boston is a great example of this. They're an organization who, of course, had to respond to coronavirus, rolled out a new site in just a matter of days. It was the hub for coronavirus information for folks in the city of Boston. Obviously, we happen to be headquartered in the city of Boston, so this was kind of a near and dear, good example to our hearts. But the ability to provide the necessary information and create new experiences and new sites very, very quickly to provide the constituents with all the information that they needed, and do so in a matter of days, which is critically important response time today. I want to shift and talk a little bit about clean customer data and providing that single view of customer, trying to resolve different identities from different places, syncing content you have online and offline. This is particularly important now, especially in the B2C space. And I want to talk a little bit about the kind of current state for data as it exists today. We've made a lot of investments in lots of different tools, point of sale systems, BI systems, maybe call center, digital ads, direct mail, e-commerce, CRM. Your data exists everywhere. I love this because this is actually the before state for one of our customers. And they said, here's where all our information is. And look, we've actually connected some of it, right? We've connected these 3 systems and they work together, but you can see here, there's not a holistic view or place where all this data is collected and combined into one cohesive view. In fact, it's not even integrated at the outset. Never mind, is there a single view of that customer to create and launch different campaigns upon. And when this happens, what we see oftentimes, and I imagine that many folks that are listening to this can sympathize, is they focus a lot on the activation, which is, I want to send another email, I want to roll out another social campaign, maybe we'll invest in more ads. It's activation, activation, activation. And while activation is good, if you don't have the right amount of customer data and insight into that activation, then it becomes really challenging. We like to call this as the cobweb problem, which is you're making it really difficult and sometimes a subpar experience for many of your consumers and potential customers by continually bombarding them with emails. I know we can all think of an example of when we logged into our email and had 10 emails in a single day from the same brand or same organization. It's not an ideal experience. So the goal here is to think about a customer data platform. It's going to take lots of different forms, but at a really high level, what this does is takes information from multiple different channels, email, call center, website, third-party data, CRM, kind of stitches it together and simplifies all the information and then presents it in a way that's easy for everyone to understand, providing a single view of customer into all their transaction history, all their interaction history. And also when you add some machine learning algorithms on top of that, it's going to help identify not just what a customer has done and maybe what type of group or segment or category they belong in, but what they're likely to do next. And when you hear everyone talk about next best action, you're not going to really be able to do that if you don't have this type of insight. And then once you do have that insight, you can roll out these new campaigns and do so more quickly than before. Maybe it's on your website, maybe it's outbound marketing, digital advertising, or email, but it's having that core insight and single view of customer that's going to help transform your business. There's countless examples of this in the retail space. Lululemon is a great example here. They were able to sync all the activities. They do a lot pre-COVID-19. They did a lot of events, and they were actually able to connect and the information from in-store events and studio experiences with the online digital practices, and that was really important for them. But when you're shifting into a mode that you're maybe only allowed to engage digitally, one thing they were able to do, and one thing that we've seen across the retail space is for our customers, is that they're able to understand not just how people engage with them digitally, which is really, really important, but also those who have never engaged with them digitally. Those that have only interacted with them in a store or on site, maybe they've called in to a call center, but they've never interacted online. So what this has allowed these organizations to do is to target first-time digital buyers with very specific targeted messaging. Maybe it could be discounts, maybe it's not, but it's specific targeted messaging that's going to actually help bring some of that business. Now, it can't take all of that business and bring it online, but it is able to, in some ways, nullify some of the pain and some of the challenge of not being able to communicate in stores, to buy in stores, and to do promotions and bring more foot traffic in stores. So the ability to lift and shift their models, we've seen this, and we've got some more great examples, and I would love to share additional ones with you as well across really amazing retail brands, understanding, flipping their business models really quickly, but it's all about that customer insight. And the last piece is maybe not the most exciting piece, but in some ways I think it's actually the most important, which is whether you are seeing increased demand, a new security threat, you need to scale in security to meet that. And that means an intelligent cloud architecture. It means a mature cloud security posture, being able to be an elastic cloud, making sure that you're able to manage different spikes of traffic and manage all your applications, no matter what's happening in whatever cloud they may be in, whatever engagement that we're seeing from different consumers, being able to manage and understand and apply these different applications and make sure that they are performing up to speed. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining the benefits or the value statements associated with cloud, but the reality is when it comes to scalability and when it comes to security, we know in the past 10 years have unequivocally proven that cloud wins. Being able to lower your effort and lower your operational cost, providing a best-in-cloud, cloud-native, cloud-first platform is going to help deliver the experiences that are required to keep your site up and running and to keep it protected and secure when it's critical to be able to engage with your consumers or your constituents or your customers or your prospects or anyone online. That is kind of your primary way to engage today, and making sure it's up and protected is critically important. There's a great example here of King Arthur Flour. They're an organization, of course, they make top tier, high quality premium flour. And we know that everyone today seems to be baking, adding new hobbies as they're traditionally staying at home and maybe not getting out as much. And King Arthur Flour has seen a massive spike in sales, but also in website traffic. They've rolled out new recipes and new content. Their sales are skyrocketing, but their traffic is skyrocketing. And being able to work with an elastic, best-in-class cloud platform has allowed not only them to support these e-commerce sales, as no longer are they all like all the King Arthur stores that they've had. Many of them have been shut down. It's still available in some grocery stores. It's also available online now, and they're seeing a huge additional amount of traffic and e-commerce purchases, but also just the ability to engage online. They're seeing more than 5x the traditional traffic, and it's coming in specific spikes, maybe when they publish a new recipe or roll out new content. And that's something that's critically important, because we need customers not only need to get the products, but they need to get the information, and you need to be secure and protected when you do that. The answer to all of this and the way to actually create and have a solution here that's going to help you be fast, that's going to help you be scalable, going to help you be secure, and help you provide the data and insight into your customers is this concept that Acquia we call open. And yes, we're a foundation, an open source. That's kind of the ethos of our company, but we really believe that an intelligent open architecture that integrates with your existing systems to leverage your existing investments, open data to be able to connect to new different systems and have it flowing freely, but also provide critical insight, and open integration so that no matter whether you have a tool that you've leveraged for years that you want to integrate with, maybe you're going to be purchasing something new, or even the ability to integrate with something that hasn't even been invented yet. That open is the answer to the problem of speed, security, and data. So with that, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate this. We're hopefully, if there's any other insight or additional customer stories we can have, we've been really impressed and empowered by our customers being able to respond to the new normal of COVID-19. And I'll be happy to share more data and insight on some of those stories. Thanks very much for listening.